Hello, mindful friends. Today we are going to be talking about intentional community. So I was reminded of this again in our snowshoe retreat this weekend, where we got to share space and meals and laughter and adventure and healing and intentional seeking and looking in a lovely group of individuals. And it always reminds me how important community is. And we were also looking into and studying compassion on this trip. And we were reading a book by Paul Gilbert called The Compassionate Mind. And he went into describing how community can be beneficial. So interconnectedness can support us in our compassionate living, but can also have a tendency or a risk of inducing non-compassionate behavior. So I can explain that further of when it helps intentionality, it is that closeness with others that motivates care, right? It motivates us to take care of other people, to look out for their well-being, to support them, to notice how their well-being, their health is interconnected with our well-being and our health. So it brings our focus out of self and back into the whole or oneness, that we are collectively healing, growing, nurturing. So this is a very supportive way to use community, is to be reminded that we're not just little individuals here only looking out for ourselves, only taking care of our own needs, but that in supporting others, it actually supports us. In growing the community and helping the community heal, it actually heals us. And this recognition grows our compassion because it motivates us to want to understand the other. We want to know about their suffering so that we don't feed it, we don't trigger it. We want to understand their feelings so that we can navigate how to be around them positively and not trigger our own suffering and hard emotions in their presence. So this motivation to be with others is what feeds and fuels the growth of compassion within us. And it teaches us what compassion is. It teaches us how to use it. On the flip side, that interconnectedness, and we've seen it in history, we see it now, can also lead to uncompassionate behavior, so harmful behavior. And this is more along the lines of tribalism, or where we use a collective energy to justify negative behavior. So examples of this would be, World War II. It would be, when we were kind of imprisoning and capturing the Japanese in our own country, the KKK. These are where interconnectedness starts fueling harmful behavior. And we can think about that of tribalism is just taking care of our inner circle at the expense of others, or creating that us and them mentality. This is a very tricky line to walk, and one that I always investigate myself and always come back to myself to make sure I'm examining this all the time, to stay very aware. because I recognize how important it is to have a support group, to have people who share your values, share your intentions, who want to come together like we did this past weekend and help each other grow in compassion and love in the heart space, that help each other heal together. And watching that closely, that it doesn't start turning into an us and them, or we have this right answer, we're doing the right thing and other people are not. It's like where you can take all the good of that interconnectedness, look at everything that it's supporting you on, notice that it feeds you, notice that it supports your intentions, your values, at the same time as staying open to the world around you, to not closing off that circle, using the good support, growing in the compassion around it, using it to understand others better, to open the heart to others. And then instead of closing that in on your own circle, only sharing it with like-minded individuals, only thinking that it belongs in your circle. Instead of that, it's like using the energies that you develop within that community that feed you, that nurture you, and then opening and expanding them outward into the outside world. So instead of closing in on them and saying, just us, we have the right answer, this is the only way to do it. We feel the energies, grow the compassion, grow the love, and then reach outward. So expand outward from the community. Interacting constantly with difference, with other groups, not using the compassion towards them in understanding them and who they are and how they see the world, instead of getting caught in, we've got this right, and bring them into our circle. It's like, use the way your community supported you and then spread that out into being compassionate, understanding, and accepting to others. And this is such a fine balance of, I think I've had a very big tendency to be afraid of entering into community, afraid of linking myself to one community because of the nature of us and them, of trying to convert other people, of trying to think that you're right and everyone else should have your same belief. So I've been really resistant to community. And yet I recognize, especially now, and especially after, I was blessed with 2 beautiful retreats in the last month. One when I went right to the center of Thich Nhat Hanh's monastery in California, and once where we hosted this retreat here in Colorado. And both experiences I got to get energized, fueled, fed, nurtured by this community, and it reinforced my practice. It strengthened my inner growth and healing. It was like this rejuvenating experience that I can come back and now use all of that to show up in this world compassionately. And so I recognize the importance of community and how wonderful it is to get in touch with that for yourself. And so don't be afraid of community. Don't be afraid of finding those people who can support you in your intentional values. But then remember to not close that circle, to use those energies to then connect with the world around you, understanding and accepting difference around you in that love and that compassion. And so I invite you this week to examine for yourself, where's your community of support? The ones who can come together and fuel your healing, fuel your growth. Look at how you're engaging with them, how they're present in your life, where you guys are present for each other. And see if there are intentional ways you can engage with that so that it supports you in a loving way and grows your compassion. And then bring that outward and stay open to the world around you. If you enjoy these talks and would like to join our group classes or individual coaching, you can visit us at newleafmindfulness.com. I hope to see you all very soon.